Well, after 3 months of pretty much just silence in all Atlanta sports ever since the Braves really won the World Series and since the lockout in the MLB, at least we can say it's not boring anymore. Yesterday we had the blockbuster trade, Matt Olson, which means Freddie Freeman's likely leaving. You get a changing of the guard here. And now we might have another one in Atlanta, except this one's a lot more needed, I think, and I think we can both agree on that. The Braves, not the Braves, the Falcons, according to Adam Schefter, are reportedly now part of the Deshaun Watson sweepstakes, which obviously means if they were to do that, Matt Ryan would be gone. They'd probably have to trade Matt Ryan, get Deshaun Watson. But this appears to be something serious. I mean, I trust when Schefter says something. He's one of the few guys that, usually when he says it, 95% right. So I definitely think the Falcons are on it. And I think they kind of felt some pressure when it came down to the Panthers and the Saints, which obviously means Deshaun Watson wants to be down south. He probably ideally would love to be in Atlanta, where he's from, where he has a relationship with the organization. So I know it's going to be like, I don't even know how to explain right now because we're too soon into this report how it would all work out. But we got to make it happen. Like, it's got to happen.
Yeah, Schefter reported that the Falcons are meeting with Watson in Houston Wednesday. So this isn't just some preliminary interest where they're trying to drive up the price for the Panthers and the Saints. This is serious. They wouldn't get this without Arthur. They wouldn't be interested without Arthur Blank say so, especially going and meeting him in Houston. So this is as real as it gets. And sure, it's a long shot, but the interest is there. You have to think Falcons get Deshaun. Matt Ryan's as good as gone. It's unfortunate, but I mean, somebody's got to put some asses in the seats. Somebody's got to revive this franchise because it's down in the dumps. And, a lot of people thought the head coach and GM change would do it, but it just hasn't. And I know it's just 1 year and it's, it takes time, but this would immediately make the Falcons a relevant team in the playoff discussion with one of the worst rosters in the league, bottom 10 by far. And you got him under team control for, I think, 5 years is what his contract currently is. It'll run. This is something that doesn't happen to the Falcons,
No.
this sort of thing. So this is something that is very shocking. And a lot of people are going to not like it because of the sexual assault allegations against Deshaun Watson, 22, I think, civil lawsuits going on. But purely from a football standpoint, on the football field, Deshaun Watson is one of the 5 best quarterbacks in the National Football League. I don't want to get too into it, but I would love it.
Oh, I would absolutely. Yeah, I don't want to get too into it because I don't want to get too excited. But the guys bitching about the sexual assault thing, they're going to believe anything that they hear no matter what. That's just who these people are. And they're going to, stand on their moral high ground and act like they know what happened and what the situation is, even though there's been no criminal charges or anything like that. And stories have been uncorroborated. So, and listen, if something did happen, obviously that changes things. But until something's proven to happen, and obviously there's been a long lawsuit going into all of this stuff. There's been plenty of time for things to be corroborated and stuff like that, and they just haven't been. And if you have Arthur Blank's sign of approval, which he does, Falcons, this is part of the report. Falcons owner Arthur Blank is fond of Deshaun Watson from his days when the former Gainesville, Georgia high school quarterback worked as a ball boy for the Falcons. So obviously, if you have Arthur Blank, who's one of the biggest morally, righteous person, the Falcons have never been the team to go after a guy who has, X, Y, and Z criminal charges against him. They've never been that kind of team. If you have Arthur Blank's sign of approval, I think, it's okay. I think it's okay. There's a little more to this story. You can get off your moral high ground, guys, and shut the hell up. Because this is game changing. This is franchise changing. I was convinced if we stuck with Matt Ryan, we are 5, 6, 7 years away from ever competing for a serious championship again. And that's if everything goes right. Getting Deshaun Watson, changes that overnight. Yes, will we be competitive next year? Probably not, because in order to get Deshaun Watson, we're still going to have to eat a ton of dead cap for Matt Ryan. We're going to have to cut basically all of our players and just totally hit the reset button. But it's so 100% worth it. Take 2 years of great Deshaun Watson and a shitty roster, and then build around him for the foreseeable future, especially if you can extend him after that, because he's not going to just be here for 5 years remaining on his contract. He's probably going to re-sign with Atlanta too. So you get a guy who you can have for the next 10 to 15 years, one of the best quarterbacks in the league, probably the best quarterback Atlanta's ever had. And I love Matt Ryan, but Deshaun Watson, talent for talent, will be the best quarterback in franchise history. If you have a chance to get that for 10 to 15 years, I don't want to hear everyone else shut the hell up, especially when you don't know what happened. Especially when you don't know what happened, especially since he's been proven not guilty, since he's not been charged and stuff like this. But you want to stand on your moral high ground. And this is not really the conversation I want to get into about it, but it's just like, shut up about that,
Yeah, Jason Lockenford just reported that other GMs, rival GMs, aren't buying Atlanta's interest, which is obviously the Saints and Panthers GMs, one of them. And I disagree. Just like you said, Arthur Blank signed off on this. Arthur Blank is either going to Houston himself or he's sending Terry Fontenot and Arthur Smith to check out the situation. The dude is one of the richest men in America. You don't think he has the resources to find out what's going on in this case? He knows way more than the public does. And all these self-righteous people and, 22 lawsuits of the same thing is very suspicious to me. I mean, obviously it's not good. But for Arthur Blank, who is one of the most, he's like the pinnacle.
Like if anyone was going to say no to this deal, it would be him. If anyone was going to, for like moral reasons to say no, it would be him. Like, because this is going to be the new face of your franchise too. Like, it's not just another player on the team, a wide receiver or a running back. This is the face of your franchise for the next decade until he goes into the grave. Do you think he wants to be attached to sexual assault and stuff like that? So if he gives the green light, you guys should probably slow your roll a little bit. That's all I want to say. And I'm not saying that he could be wrong, or that if he is proven, guilty of in some form or matter, that, I want him on my team. But if Arthur Blank gives the green light, I think we're all going to be okay. I think he knows a little bit more than you and me. So yeah, for those people out there, and from a football perspective, this is unbelievable. This is the most excited I've been about the Falcons. I might actually put on my Deion Jones jersey, even though he'll probably be traded, because he has to be traded to make this money work. But there is the other aspect that this could simply be the Falcons driving up price tag. I mean, we know that the Panthers and the Saints are the two most interested teams, and it makes sense for the Falcons to hop in there and drive up the price tag as much as possible. But I see this as a position, especially since we found out that Matt Ryan's contract hasn't yet been restructured. They're leaving that on the table. It's a possibility. And I've been screaming, hit the rebuild, try to get Bryce Young. This is Bryce Young already. Deshaun Watson is what Bryce Young is probably going to be. This is the move you make if you can somehow figure out to make it. Give up everything. And the Falcons have the picks. The Falcons have a lot of picks. They got a few second rounders. They got a first. I'm sure they can move trades. I mean, like, this is the kind of deal where, as much as I don't want to trade Grady Jarrett, get as much as you can for Grady Garrett. Use those picks for Deshaun Watson.
I mean, trade everybody. Yes, I don't care who you are. Kyle Pitts, see ya. What do you think, that you're not worth a quarterback? It's the most important position in all of sports. You get that right, and you can get everything else wrong and still make the playoffs. I mean, Deshaun Watson has been carrying bum-ass Texans teams to the postseason since he entered the league.
Yeah.
The dude just wins. He just wins.
Yeah, I mean, I'm 100% on board with you move everything if you can do this. And it's the kind of decision that I think would really put us like an A+ on. Like, we kind of have been waiting for this regime to do something, make their own path. They've kind of been forced to follow down Dimitroff and Quinn's path that left. This would be the kind of thing that says, hey, this is who we are now. We're building around Deshaun Watson. We're going in this direction. If they have the green light from Arthur Blank, I would take the Falcons seriously here. Now, we'll see. I still think it's going to be hard to outbid other teams, because there's a reason why everyone's going to be wanting this guy. But if they're serious about it, you blow everything up. You trade the whole damn roster. Anyone that's worth a damn, you get picks back for him, and you trade him for Deshaun Watson. And there's no doubt in my mind that's what should happen. And hopefully it does. I mean, this would be franchise altering in the best way possible.
Yeah, in terms of salary cap landing spots, the Falcons aren't the best. The Panthers probably are the best, but that doesn't matter. The Falcons have maybe the best assets to give away. They have the 8th pick. They have 2 second-round picks. They have the 4th overall pick from the previous draft.
Yeah.
They've got one of the best players at his position in Grady Jarrett. Hell, give AJ Terrell up too. That's what
Yeah.
this is
Give
going to start
everyone up.
sparking conversations. It's like, yeah, but AJ Terrell's untouchable. Kyle Pitts is untouchable.
No.
Shut up.
Chris
Shut
Lindstrom,
up.
the whole damn team. Whatever
Everybody.
you want. Whatever you
Everybody.
want. Tell me what you want and you give them up. I mean, Grady Jarrett, get him out the door. Matt Ryan. I mean, you want to take Matt Ryan. Whatever the hell you want, you can have them because this is franchise altering. And listen, yes, not only do I think the Falcons will be okay with Deshaun Watson and a bunch of crappy players, they'll probably still win the same amount of games, 7-8 games that they would win, with the current roster. But in 2 years from now, all that's not going to matter. You're going to have your picks back. You're going to have a ton of cap space. You can build around this guy, and that's the cat you want to build around. And it's this.
Yeah, all these self-righteous people saying I won't be a fan of the Falcons anymore if they trade for Deshaun Watson. It's like, well, if you had any moral compass, you just wouldn't be a fan of them right now because they obviously have serious interest, and that's basically this. Yeah, that's just basically the same thing.
You wouldn't be a fan of the NFL in general.
But also, this would be hilarious to see if it happened. These people say they're not going to be fans if we trade for him. In 2 years, if we're winning the NFC South every single year, they'd be like, oh, well, yeah, I guess it's fine. He's winning cures all. I don't care what it is. It doesn't matter.
They would have Deshaun Watson jerseys on, and they'd have their kids in Deshaun Watson jerseys, especially since, if nothing else comes out in these cases, if they all just kind of go away like I expect them to, like most people expect them to, if everything goes away in those cases, Deshaun Watson goes out there, starts winning NFC championships, we're all going to treat him like he's ultra innocent no matter what. And so, yeah, it's hilarious that the self-righteous thing is always going to be around these days because people want to make themselves feel better about themselves. The reality is I care about winning football games. I care about getting the best players on the field. I'm not the judge and the jury in this country. I think that's stupid to act like you are. And if Deshaun Watson can come in here and revive this franchise, bring life to this city in football. I mean, goddamn, fill up the damn stadium. Please, God. Please, God.
Yeah, everybody's on the surface level, 22 sexual assault suits is really fucking bad. It's really fucking bad on the surface. But we don't know anything about anything. I mean, people acting like they've read these case files and they've seen the deliberation back and forth since day one are kidding themselves. I'm not saying he's innocent. I'm certainly not saying he's guilty. I'm talking about it from a football perspective. Who gives a fuck? The dude can play.
Well, because none of us are the judge or the jury in the situation. Like none of us are. So just shut up.
Where'd you get your law degree? Where'd you get your law degree? Do you know anything?
Stop talking about that BS. Talk about things that you know. And I know Deshaun Watson gives us the best chance of getting out of this hellhole we've been in for the last 5 years. And if Arthur Blank, of all people, signs off on it, I trust that guy's decision making. So I think people need to pipe down. They have no idea what the hell they're talking about. And let's just go get us a damn star quarterback and just bring football back to Atlanta. I feel like there hasn't even really been football in Atlanta for 4 or 5 years.
Yeah, other than college football, who gives a fuck about football in Georgia? High school football might be more important than in Georgia.
I guarantee you there are more people at the high school football state championships than there are at Falcons games, without a doubt. But that would change. You bring Deshaun Watson to Atlanta, you will put asses in seats. I don't care if those tickets are $350. You will put asses in seats. That is 100% guaranteed. It would change everything about this franchise that I hate right now. It would change it all.
I'm going to disagree with you for a second. I mean, I don't trust Arthur Blank's judgment whatsoever, but I will say the dude doesn't make mistakes like this. He overpays for players that he loves. He does not make decisions like this without carefully examining everything about it. He's a billionaire for a reason. Billionaire with a B. The dude runs the state of Georgia. I mean, if this guy has all the details and more. I mean, he knows more about this case than the entire public combined. He's probably hired $100,000 PI to go find out exactly what's going on. I mean, he's done his homework. And if he signs off on it, generally speaking, it's probably okay.
Yeah. But hey, I'm glad we got here something that we could yell about for 15 minutes and be excited about. I mean, it's usually us just bashing the Falcons for 15 minutes. We actually have, I mean, this is unbelievably great news. And it's just the fact that it's a possibility. The fact that they're even thinking this far outside the box, because to me, this is kind of obvious, but it's a hard decision to make when you're, especially a year into a new regime and stuff like that. But God, I pray somehow this meeting on Wednesday goes as well as possible, and just unload everyone. And you're right, AJ Terrell, Kyle Pitts, Chris Lindstrom, the three guys right there that I would say are the most untouchable on this team. They're not untouchable for Deshaun Watson. They're untouchable, just not for Deshaun Watson. So yeah, I mean, when you look at the pieces that they can offer and the contracts those guys are on, I mean, AJ Terrell and Kyle Pitts, like that to me, being that they're both on rookie contracts and have, at least 3 years left and Kyle Pitts has 4, that's basically giving him 2 top 5 picks. Like, would you not say like that's the equivalent of 2 top 5 picks? Who else is
One
going to
top
offer that?
5 and one top 10 at least.
Yeah, I mean, because those are, yeah. So that's the equivalent because those are proven players on their rookie deals. You have the number 8th overall pick. I mean, if you trade those 2 players, Grady Jarrett and the 8th overall pick, I mean, that's a hell of a package right there.
Yeah, I mean, throw in 2 second rounders too, and deal's
And,
good as done.
and from my perspective, that's a no-brainer. As much as I love those guys, but what are those guys bringing me? Nothing. Not without a good quarterback, not without an offensive line. And yeah, we might suck next year. We're going to suck next year anyways. So rip the Band-Aid off. Let's go. 2 years down the road, Deshaun Watson, we're building around this dude, and we're going to have a good team.
Yeah, I can't wait to see some people against this kind of trade. Pure, not from the off the field stuff, but from the on the field stuff. It's like, well, if we trade all of our team, we're gonna suck with Deshaun Watson. It's like, dude, we're gonna win 6 games this year, no matter what. No matter what.
Yeah, I mean, I always say Falcons fans are the hardest people to argue with. They really are the most. And they're the Braves and the Hawks aren't great either. But the Falcons fans, there's something about them, man. They are a special kind of dumb. Not all of them, but a large chunk of the fan base. But hopefully, within a matter of a couple of days or weeks or some time, we're back on here talking about how Deshaun Watson, number 4, is coming to Atlanta.